There was no like buffering, nothing. It just like died and was done. Alright, well maybe I'll walk around a little more. Get some more view, some shit. So anyway, yeah, I was talking about Casablanca. And how it's, maybe a rhyme with the Red Room. Being these sort of people who are, I don't know, beneath the sort of Damocles of history, about to fall, but trying to have a good time and drink our sorrows away. The heart of Casablanca really is that piano and Sam, right? Sam gets 10%, but he's worth 25. He's worth every, at the end, he agrees to give him 25%. Because he's the center of the music. That music, there's music interlaced through that whole movie. Casablanca, most famous, obviously, as time goes by. But, there's music through the whole fucking movie, as far as, like, there's, like, this Hispanic woman who sings and plays guitar. There's a lot. Sam is always playing something at his piano, and it's really at the center of so many of those scenes. And I don't know. All these people are just trying to escape, right? They're trying to escape this thing that's gonna kill them, right? So I don't know if this got cut off. My last stream just got abruptly cut off without warning for some reason. But I was talking about how the Rick character is sort of like a Schindler character, where he's helping, Jewish people flee the Nazis, basically, and escape to America. But it's like, where the fuck are we gonna go? In Casablanca, they have this whole pipeline where it's like, they go, to Casablanca, and then they go to fucking Lisbon, and then they go to America, and they end up in New York, probably. And they end up at the New School or something. Where are we gonna go? We are America. The MAGA is here. And so, for those of you just tuning in, go back and watch my first broadcast. We talked about Adam Sandler films. We haven't talked about The Masters yet. But yeah, Casablanca. It's just weird how early they made that movie. It came out in 1942. They were scripting and making that shit, like, I think maybe before Pearl Harbor. But I think I read somewhere, my buddy told me he took a class in Casablanca at the New School. They have an entire class devoted to Casablanca and all the sort of, you can study that movie. It's kind of it's obviously a perfect movie, but I think a lot of what drives it and makes it memorable is the dialogue. The dialogue is like poetry, where like a lot of those lines are like Shakespeare. Did I talk about this already? Where it's like they're part of the public sort of lexicon, or at least they were. Maybe that's just a boomer thing. Maybe it's sort of dying out. I don't know if Casablanca is as watched. Are there Casablanca TikToks and shit? I don't know. But there's so much of the dialogue in that movie is poetic. It's sort of like common speech poetic, like, here's looking at you, kid. Like, what a crazy syntax. Like, what the fuck does that mean? Here's looking at you, kid. Who are you? What were you before? What did you think? What did you know? Like, I love that. I've always asked people that. There's so many, round up the usual suspects, I was misinformed. There's so many, most of the lines in that movie are like fucking quotable as hell, and they're sort of, they're in the way people actually talk, and they're sort of truncated, in this sort of like, I guess it's, to me, one of the things that struck me about is like the Rick character is very like Hemingway. He's almost like a lost generation. When I was younger and I saw that movie, I thought it was so boring. Because it starts out with all this political shit and just like, I didn't understand what time period they were in. I'm like, when are they in Paris? They're in Paris, like, because I thought it was like Lost Generation or something. Like, how much before was that he was with Ingrid Bergman? And it's like, it was literally a year before. You know, it's like Paris fell in 1940. They're in Paris, like, literally right before it falls. It's like, so it hasn't even been that long. They act like they haven't seen each other in like fucking years or something. It's like literally one goddamn year. And to be honest, I'm not really sure they were a good match. I don't really think Rick belonged. It was an age gap thing. He's kind of old and gross. I don't really think she knew what she was getting into. I don't really think they had like a whole lot in common. I think it was just sort of like a fling. She was really too young to know what, you know, who he even was. But like I said, he sort of feels like this Hemingway character to me. He's an alcoholic, and he talks about he fought in the Spanish Civil War, right? He ran guns or something against the fascists, which a lot of those guys did, right? Like Orwell. I think Hemingway was there. You know, it's like Rick isn't into bullfights and all that shit. They don't go overboard with it. But he's a drunk in Paris. I mean, Jesus Christ. It seems like he's trying to kind of imitate that kind of Hemingway. And then they said Pepe Le Moco and like there's a bunch of movies that Casablanca kind of borrows parts from. These beautiful magnolias. In the Magnolia Grove, everybody. This is real poetry. Poetry of life. When I lived on Goodale Park, there was a Magnolia Grove right across the street from my apartment, right before I moved to New York. So I feel a special affinity for magnolias in the springtime. So I was hanging out by these trees the other night. I was just sitting in the branches. Yeah, so anyway, Casablanca, Rick. I don't know. Movies were more literary then. The dialogue is all super, I don't know, is that Algonquin Round Table? It's very pithy. They cared about that shit back then. You know, this was before Adam Sandler movies took over the fucking culture. And he goes, yippity-doo! Scrubby McGee! Alright, so anyway, yeah. We're on the precipice of God knows what. But yeah, I can relate to the Rick character. I try to do the right thing while being as bitter about it as possible, and at least outwardly. And people are constantly asking me for things, want to go on early, got to get out by this time. Reek! You know, they give that part to Peter Lorre. They give him the letters of transit because they're a very important plot device. The letters of transit are like the MacGuffin of the movie, where it's like, this is the golden ticket to get the fuck out of hell, basically, to prevent from being killed. You know, they're going to kill Victor Laszlo. And, you know, they're setting up that love triangle the whole time. They're setting up the angles. And to be honest, it's pretty obvious what's going to happen. I mean, you can see what's going to happen from a mile away. I think that's part of the charm of the movie is there's like, I don't know, this kind of ominous destiny to the whole thing. You know Rick has to do the right thing. He can't just be a scumbag and steal this guy's fucking wife. This guy's like a freedom fighter and shit. He can't sell him out to the Nazis. But Rick kind of plays like he's a piece of shit the whole movie. He kind of plays like he's this drunk who doesn't care. He just wants money. He's just a businessman. Even though in his past there's indications. I would say there's a heavy homoerotic, I don't even know that I'd call it a subtext. It seems like Claude Rains is like just DTF. Claude Rains is just ready at any time for Bogart. He is just like chomping at the bit to get a piece of Bogart. Apparently Bogart was 5'5", and he had to wear giant platform shoes to be like a reasonable height for Ingrid Bergman. So there's probably not likely that Humphrey Bogart would even be a movie star today. I think he was like an Upper West Side kid. He like went to Dalton and shit. There are certain parts of New York I would advise you to avoid, to not invade, or whatever the fuck he said. I haven't seen it that many times. I haven't seen it since I was like a kid. When I was a little kid, you know, your concept of like the greatest movies ever made are like Casablanca and Citizen Kane. And they're very different, even though they were made at like the same time. There's different reasons why they're great. With Casablanca, the movie really looks great. Like it's an iconic in the true sense of the word. You know, like every scene in that movie, there's so many shots in that movie that are like truly iconic. Bogart drinking in the dark, you know, the end at the fucking airport with all the fog and shit. It's like, how many times has that been parodied or imitated or... And, whereas Citizen Kane is like this way more complicated. It's not necessarily as, it's more like fucking the rules of the game or something. It's like, it's not as, it's you know, Casablanca is just like this crowd pleaser. It's almost like a song. It's just like every note of that fucking movie just plays, and it's emotional, and it's just, oh my God. It's so romantic and truthful. I think it's about a twin flame relationship, actually. I think Bogart and Ingrid Bergman are twin flames. And what they had, everybody, if you're lucky in this life, you go through the twin flame experience where it's just like what you have is kind of too hot to touch. And so it's like you want to be together, but it's just not meant to be. And so that I think Casablanca is really about the twin flame. But apparently Casablanca, the literal translation of it is White House. And so there's a theory that it is it's sort of like a metaphor for Roosevelt or something. Like Rick is Roosevelt and blah, blah, blah. I haven't necessarily followed that all the way through. But like I said, Casablanca is this very deep, it's like the greatest screenplay ever written, as McKee says. And it's very McKee. It's very like the characters change, and, you know, there's this physical object that sort of like incarnates like the unconscious or the desires of what the characters want and that helps them kind of act out who they are. And the movie is this sort of playing out of that game. But not every movie has to be that. And Citizen Kane is like, you know, I don't know. It's important for like other reasons. Like it's more, I don't know. I would just say there's probably more. It's more like a sketch of one guy told through the prism of all these different subjectivities, and then it's all about the pioneering kind of film techniques of it, all the shit that they invented. Like Casablanca is not really technically remarkable in that sort of way, and I think there's a lot of confusion with that, where people go like, well, why is Citizen Kane the best movie ever made? It's boring. Something like Casablanca, it's like Hugh Hefner fucking shows it at the fucking Playboy Mansion. You know, like all the time. It's just like, it always works. You know, it's just always gonna pull your heartstrings. At least for a certain kind of like wounded masculinity or whatever. I mean, Bogart really was like the role model, you know, like Jean-Paul Belmondo in fucking Breathless. It's like, you know, he's trying to do Bogart. Played against Sam, right? Woody Allen. Bogart's like the coolest guy. I just think for that era, I don't know. Apparently they started showing Casablanca during finals week at Harvard in 1957. And that's, I don't know, that's how Casablanca feels to me. It feels like this kind of, I don't know, old white guy, sentimental, like, repertory. Oh, I saw it at the New Yorker Theater. Like Woody Allen and Charles Bernstein and fucking Bill Zavatsky, and they probably goddamn love Casablanca. And I get it, okay? But who, I mean, is it gonna come to that in the Red Room? Where are we gonna run? We can't run to Canada or Greenland. They're gonna put us in prison in El Salvador, I guess. The homegrowns. Homegrown's next. Where does he get this fucking verbiage? Who came up with that? Homegrown's next. We need 5 more extra large prisons, please. El Salvador, we'll pay you. We need to send we need to send Bill Maher, or Bill Maher, I guess, gets to stay. He's kissed the boots. But we're gonna send Colbert and George Clooney there. George Clooney is a horrible black dye job. The Masters. Did people watch Rory on Sunday, roaring back? I don't know. I love the pageantry. I love the music. The Masters is like the green. It's so green. You're not going to see green like that on TV anywhere. And I don't know. It's just kind of a haunting place. The Bobby Jones thing. I don't know. It's just like the most special. It's really the only golf tournament. You know, like I'll tune into the majors, but like the Masters is kind of different. I buy all the bullshit. Fucking America Offline was saying his family like lived in Augusta. I'd love to hear what Augusta, Georgia is actually like, because what you see on TV at the Masters is extremely curated and kind of like chosen to be able to be seen, to project the image that they want to project, right? And it's a weird, you know, if you want to talk about Illuminati shit, I mean, Augusta National is definitely one of like the cabals of like the ultra elite. I mean, the members guest list at the fucking Augusta National is probably one of the most exclusive clubs literally in the world. It's like, I think Bill Gates is a member, Condoleezza, Eisenhower was a member. I'm not exactly sure. They probably don't want us to know. But they're not even fucking open 6 months out of the year. I know people, I'm a golf commentator, okay? I'm fascinated by Jim Nantz for some reason. Well, Jim Nantz was like buddies with the Bushes. He would talk about, like, on the fucking broadcast that he was in Kennebunkport. He, like, I think he gave the Bushes, like, a putting green as, like, a present. Jim Nantz, like, gifted the Bushes, like Bush Sr. and W, like this fucking putting green at Kennebunkport. And he went to college with Fred Couples at the or someplace in Houston, Southern Methodist or some shit. So, you know, if you're really tracing, like, the undergirdings of power in this country, like golf and these kinds of things are right there. And they're sort of in plain sight, but they're also like something that nobody pays attention to. Like this guy Clifford Roberts who ran Augusta, or, I mean, in Columbus, Ohio, there's a lot of that culture. There's a lot of like white executive who are members at Scioto or the golf club or Muirfield, right, is Jack Nicklaus's home course. They kind of go hand in hand. Like if you're a CEO and you have a private jet, you know, there was something like, you know, hundreds of private jets at Augusta this week. They have to hire, you know, all these new fucking people just for 1 week because of all the private jets that fly into Augusta. Like, all these golfers have private jets. The fucking, you know, investment bankers who follow the tour have private jets. Like, that's how they can afford $23,000 tickets to the goddamn Masters. It's like they're ripping everybody off. Bryce and DeChambeau is playing golf with Trump, and they're breaking 50 on TikTok. We're ranting again, all right? We're ranting against, and so there was this guy like Jack Welch, Jack Nicklaus, Jack. They're all, you know, golf is like where these business deals go now. I think that's one of the things about being on the golf team in high school is like they're sort of training you to be a part of that class of people, to like go out on the course, and that's how Trump does it. That's the art of the deal. You know, you cheat at golf on the golf course that you own. You have caddies and shit. You have, Hispanic people in the kitchen, and cart girls. It's practically a Hooters. You know, golf is kind of working its way out of its sexism and its racism, but it's still there, definitely. And I think I remember some story in the 90s about some trans athlete, I think, that wanted to play golf or something. And I think I remember Jack Nicklaus speaking out against that in the fucking 90s. Now that's such a hot button issue now, everybody likes to talk about trans athletes and shit. But, that's where the 1% is. They're at the private, it's like thousands of dollars a year to, be members of these fucking places. It's like, for what? Just so you could go and have lunch there? It's weird. Who knows what the fuck goes on? They're sort of like adult fraternities or something. You know, if you were in Skull and Bones, chances are you're probably just moving up to, the Colonial or whatever fucking Pine Valley. But I don't know. People don't really talk about that shit. They talk about Epstein Island and shit. Just letting the private jet, to me, the private jet is kind of like the symbol of the wealth inequality. It's like, if you're able to afford a private jet, they're so bad for the environment. And it's just such a huge, it's like the Titanic, like flying commercial, coach, versus like, I'm elite enough as a human specimen. I'm genetically superior enough that I need this private jet to conduct my fucking lifestyle in business. I'm Dan Bilzerian. I need pilots. I'm Taylor Swift. There's an entire website devoted to tracking where my fucking private jet goes. Because they're just melting the ice caps. Payne Stewart is melting. And I mean Payne Stewart, right? Do people remember what happened with Payne Stewart? Their cabin like depressurized. And so Payne Stewart died like a horrible death on his private jet. Like, rest in peace. How terrible. I wish I had a goddamn private jet. I wish I was flying in my private jet to some gig in fucking Milwaukee or something. Or France or Rome or China. I don't even have a fucking private anything. About to be fucking totally 100% public. Living in public. With the people. Open mic is for the fucking people, okay? I'm sick of the elitist gatekeepers of poetry. Thinking they know anything about poetry. There's so much corny fucking poetry out there that is dominating the scene. You have to be more fucking transgressive. You have to be more fucking tearing up the rules. You have to be more daring and audacious. You have to be like Megalopolis, okay? You have to be like Coppola and Megalopolis. You have to take fucking chances. in your work. And you have to try. This guy came up to me. I forget. I think it was at Pete's. He said he came to the open mic and he saw my 10-minute play. Which I do remember doing, but it was like sort of a one-off thing. I just thought, that didn't really work. I'll never do that again. And this guy remembered it. He liked it. You know, it's that kind of shit matters. Getting that kind of feedback, you know. This person's live streaming. Doing it live. So you never know. You know, that's one of the beauties of this open mic is you get to try something new every week. Throw some at the wall. This week is National Poetry Month, so I read a poem. Next week is 420, everybody. So get ready for the 420 spectacular. We're gonna get super goddamn high. We're gonna do our jam band set, okay? We're starting with the jam band set for 420. Easter 420. Jesus Christ was anointed in cannabis oil, okay? Jesus Cristo. He smoked the herb, okay? That's how he became Jesus. By smoking shitloads of weed, obviously. So that's what we're going to be doing on Monday at KGB. Smoking weed. I wanted you to just read your fucking weed poetry. Fuck the squares, okay? Fuck the people with jobs. Fuck the MFAs. Fuck the professors. They've taken the deal. Fuck anybody who gets published. There's nothing spiritual about it, okay? We went to Orso after Colbert, and it was packed. This guy was talking about the Tony nominations. Oh, that's going to get a nomination. I think she'll get nominated. That will get a nomination. I guess Orso's like a Broadway. I just need a Broadway. I want to do my live streams on Broadway, okay? Can we make that happen? Can I crowdsource that or something? Please, in the super chat, somebody. I need a crypto billionaire to just like deed me a fraction of a Bitcoin. Save my life, please. Apparently, I keep seeing TikToks about how Aquarius are about to have some huge financial windfall. I am ready. I claim this energy in the comments. Please, I need to be able to afford an apartment like a human being. Like Alan Covert and Little Nicky, okay? The MVP, Alan Covert. Of Grandma's Boy, okay? I think Nick Swardson is really funny. Are they all Trumpers? I mean, fucking Rob Schneider's a Trumper. Sandler's a Trumper. He doesn't have Dennis Miller in any of his movies. Has Dennis Miller been in a Happy Madison? Come on. I want Happy Madison to produce my content. If you're out there, Sandler, we love the fictional world you create and all the crazy characters. Uncle Donnie. Donnie, no, turn off the fucking engine. Snort ya. This boat's got more fucking balls than the Celtics locker room. We love it. I mean, we're immature, okay? It's your inner child. Adam Sandler's the inner child. There's a lot of comedians that are that. I don't know. Even as an adult hard ass, you have to love your inner child sometimes. And Adam Sandler's got a lot of heart. Maybe it's a lie. Suppose he's a nice guy. He puts his wife in all his movies and his daughters. He's still married, you know? Play with your cock and balls. I never really heard Adam Sandler CDs, but I heard other kids doing it. Brian Dennis would always fucking quote Adam Sandler shit. You know, or Charlie, or Richard Cotterman, Charlie Polio. I mean, Adam Sandler was pretty much the funniest fucking, I mean, Jim Carrey didn't have like comedy albums. Everybody listened to those goddamn Adam Sandler comedy albums. Those were R-rated. You know, those were like extremely fucking graphic and obscene and foul language. They were like fucking Snoop Dogg albums. You know, they were like Doggy Style or Dr. Dre or whatever. They were fucking, when you're 8 years old, you're like, whoa. This shit's pretty crazy. Play with your corking balls. And I don't know, that's what comedy is. It's stupid as hell. Why is our culture obsessed with it? It's dissociation. It's wrong. These people need to grow the fuck up. You should have came to my goddamn talk piece last Thursday. You should be watching my streams. You should be buying Casbah Doggerel, my poetry propaganda. My poetry ganda, okay? For peace and love and intellect. And living life. Joie de vivre. Okay, I've got 20%. I'm on 20%, people. So, we're wrapping it up. I love this statue over here, by the way. This is Columbus Circle. I'm doxing myself here. Check out this fucking statue. Has this been in an Adam Sandler movie? Adam Sandler does film New York in a really great way, I think. Like, he includes, you know, a lot of his scenes, they pick good parts of New York. You know, the fucking Bethesda Fountain is in Big Daddy. Little Nicky, Ozzy bites the fucking Reese Ephens head off in Central Park. Check that shit out. Isn't that awesome? That dope as shit.
Including the most gentle
that dope ass shit.
Wake-up service.
Adam S. out there. Adam Sandler watches my live streams, of course. Adam S. He's supposedly a clerk in Seattle, but we really know who the real... It's Happy Madison, man. You can do it! I don't know. You know, we're trying to just build a shelter out of the wreckage of our culture. Anything that will protect us and help us understand ourselves better. These Adam Sandler movies, I don't know. I think they're at the crux of the battle between good and evil. I think Bob Dylan should be in an Adam Sandler movie. I think that would be the ultimate Adam Sandler character. He basically looks exactly... He looked more like Bob Dylan in Reign Over Me than Timothy Chalamet did. He looks exactly like Tom Petty era Temples and Flames Dylan. He looked just like Temples and Flames Dylan. And that character, I don't know. Maybe we're all in some kind of weird 9/11 Arrested Development. But, you know, the thing is, Adam Sandler, he was a dominant cultural force way before 9/11. You know, young men in the 90s, Adam Sandler was like just a big part of the DNA. I hate, you know, probably not for the better. There's a lot of Springsteen in Adam Sandler. He kind of looks like Springsteen. Farinelli. Got some nice sidewalk culture here for everybody watching at home. All right, I'm about to get off. I'm going to go to 10%. Thank you for watching again. Don't call me right now. I'll call you after. Oh, what did you do? Oh, what did you do? Back. Am I on? Am I off? I had 5 people. Oh, Ashley, why? Ashley, why? Okay. Why? What the hell was I talking about? Adam Sandler movies. Watch your favorite Adam Sandler movies, not including Punch Drunk Love or Uncut Gems. Those do not count, okay? Those are not Adam Sandler movies, okay? Those are pretentious art house bullshit. I think Uncut Gems in particular is kind of overrated. I think Adam Sandler is great in it. Don't get me wrong, this man is great. But I didn't, it's okay. Uncut Gems was okay. I thought it was a good movie. It's sort of like a Nora. It was okay. It was good. You know? It wasn't as good as Scarecrow. It wasn't that creative, you know? It wasn't as good as fucking, I'm not Rappaport. Okay? Let's just be realistic here. It wasn't as good as fucking chapter 2. It was all right. Oh, I'm going to Nordstrom Rack, everyone. You join me. We're going to live stream from Nordstrom Rack. Okay, so I'm wrapping up. Thank you for watching. Ashley, I will call you when the live stream is over. Almost done. I had to do this in 2 pieces because my first stream got fucked for some reason. Thank you. I've got 6 people, though. Thank you for tuning in. Like and subscribe. Go back and watch the first video where I talk at length about Adam Sandler and the Masters and the golf team van and onward and upward with the fucking arts. I mean, Jesus Christ, I think a new era is about to begin, you know, as we fight evil. I think this is Louis, I think this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship. What he's saying there is he's saying we're about to kick some Nazi ass. He's saying we are both resistance. That's what the friendship is about. Because he just killed Major Strasser. Oh, this is the Osborne. I think this is where Lorne Michaels lived. He's like, oh, I lived in this apartment over a chock full of nuts on 57th Street. It's like, dude, you lived in the fucking Osborne. You didn't live over a chock full of nuts, okay? You lived in like one of like the fanciest apartment buildings on planet Earth. So this is the Osborne. This is, I think Fran Lebowitz lived here or lived here. It's in, so there was probably a chock full of nuts like over here someplace. Oh yes, I lived on 50 in an apartment over a chock full of nuts. Like he lives over a fucking storefront in a tenement or something. It's like, you dickhead. You live in the fucking Osborne. It's, you know, it's, I think it's a contemporary of like the Dakota. It was sort of like a precursor to that. You know, it's like, it's pre-war. It's pre-World War I. And so it's like, you know, super chunky, nice brownstone, huge, beautiful apartments. Oh, I live above a chock full of nuts, you know, in a dump, some dump. On 57th Street. It's like, well, he lives about, what, 10 blocks from Rockefeller Center, so he can just walk to work on Saturday Night Live. Goals. That's goals, people. Maybe I'll move into the Osborne. Do you think they have anything for like $200 a month? I'm currently in the market for a new apartment. Look at that, everybody. New York action, New York drama. There's the Super Talls. Being all fucking shitty. So that was probably the chock full of nuts right there. This Carnegie Deli and Cafe, Diner Cafe. Oh yes, I live above a chock full of nuts on Lawrence, across from Carnegie Hall. I think there's a bunch of like really nice artist housing above Carnegie Hall. If anybody has any leads on any apartments, I need something special. I'm looking for something rent controlled in the West Village. I'm not talking about rent fucking stabilized. Okay, I'm talking rent control. I'm sick of seeing all these fucking ads. It's like, oh, this is a steal. $29.95 rent stabilized studio apartments. Like, good God. That's supposed to be like some kind of steal? It's like, rent stabilized is great and everything. All it means is that they can't raise your rent like more than like, I don't even know. It's like, is it 4% or is it 10%? You know, it's like, it's not like rent control. It's like, they can still raise your goddamn rent every year if they want to. Alright, so we're approaching Times Square and all that. Broadway, where we belong. I just heard, and I don't know if this is true or not. Well, maybe I won't talk. No, I shouldn't talk about that. Yeah, well, thank you for watching, everybody. Let me get some of these T-shirts. You know, this is classic New York stuff right here. Whatever the attitude of that is, that seems to like typify the East Coast to me. When I moved to New York, it seemed like that's the native mentality for everything. So you have to respect it. You know, you just understand that's the default. Do I look like a fucking people person? I don't know. Okay, Jesus. Do I have anything else to say? There's tons more to talk about. I mean, President Trump, of course, destroying the country. Apparently, Tim Dillon's special is terrible. Not that I give a fuck. Is there any poetry shit I need to talk about? I got a really good response for my poem on Monday, which I was kind of surprised because I haven't read poetry at the open mic in like a long time. I've been kind of doing everything but that because here you go, Howard gets pizza here. Look, with this wig, Howard, DeSpiro and Nick from Howard Stern. Oh, and Dice. And Stallone. And Pauly Shore. Oh, he's got two of Stallone. Look at that. Gee, I wonder who this guy voted for. He's got Dice and Stallone. Howard. This right here was the Carnegie Deli, which I had a $20 sandwich at in 2009. And it's nothing. There's literally nothing here now. And hasn't probably since the Carnegie Deli left. It just makes no sense. Like, why do that? It's in an Adam Sandler song. It's in the Hanukkah song, for Christ's sake. And now it's just nothing. It's just senseless. It's a senseless waste of our cultural heritage. You know, we could be eating $30 sandwiches there now. There could be TikToks about it. You know, to be honest, it was worth it. It was a fucking good-ass sandwich, and it was a giant goddamn sandwich. I mean, it was like 4 meals in one. So it was completely a one-of-a-kind experience where I got to live my Broadway Danny Rose dreams. You know, that was the beginning of my Broadway Danny Rose experience. All right, I'm on 10%, everybody. Here we are, just wandering the theater district, down the streets of Broadway, into the night. Thank you for watching. Go back and watch my reading on the open mic on Monday. I thought I did it. People liked it. So, you know, I don't know. Who knew? My poem, City Days. And check out my talk piece from last Thursday. I thought I did a pretty good job, actually. Even though there was nobody there. That was kind of the point. I really didn't want anybody there. That's my new thing. Just owning the fact that the audience sucks and fuck the audience. I don't care. I don't care that anybody watches. They all watch Adam Sandler films that Roger Ebert hates. So, what the fuck do they know? Bunch of Philistines in this goddamn country who like Rob Schneider movies, for Christ's sake. Deuce Bigelow. You can do it. All right. Well, anyway, yeah. So that's where I stowed my backpack for $6, the Sheraton. When we go and watch Colbert, I'm gonna get some kind of fucking sandwich or pizza or something. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great night. Maybe I could find a charger or something. All right. Well, anyway.